Good morning, everyone. In computer network, today we are going to learn from the previous topic which was left, that is multiplexing and crash recovery. Okay, so this first one is the multiplexing. Many transport connections means, see, look at this figure. In this figure, this is the router which is going to be connected with another router, and it is using in the transport layer, it is using four different transport connections, right? So many transport connections, that means 4 transport connections using a single network connection, one network connection, right? So this is called the upward multiplexing. Understood? Many transport connections using one network connection called upward multiplexing. The opposite is one network connection. Okay, see, one transport connection is using many network connections. 1 2 3. This is the transport layer, this is the network layer. Are you clear? This is the transport layer, this is the network layer. The same way, this is the transport layer and this is the network layer. So one transport connection using many network connections means downward multiplexing. Understood? You can look at the figure layers. So first you will be getting the transport connection, then only network connection. So from network to transport means it is called as the upward. From transport to network means it is called the downward. Clear? Next one is the crash recovery. Crash means what? When the data has been transferred, if it is in the congestion or not able to transfer the data, it becomes the issue. So the transport entity should entirely within the host has to be recovered. Then only it can transport the next data. So how to recover? The host has to decide whether it has to be retransmit the TPDU, means transport datagram unit, okay, after the recovery from the hash. So for that it has to, what it has to do, it has to be programmed that how it has to recover that particular unit. So protocol has to have a procedure, and from that it has to get the acknowledgement. So what is the conclusion for this? There is a layer, one more layer should be added which can send the can send the request to the data, then the data can be sent and acknowledgement can be received. After that the data has to be transferred. Okay, so clear about this crash recovery and multiplexing. We will move on to the next topic called internet transport protocols. Okay, in this there are two types of protocols, UDP and TCP. UDP is nothing but a user datagram protocol, right? So in this topic we are going to learn about introduction to UDP, remote procedure called real time transport protocol. Okay, first we are going to see this introduction to UDP. UDP, what did I say? Yes, user datagram protocol. It provides a way for the applications, and it can send the encapsulated IP datagrams, and it can send them without having to establish a connection. Means it does not require that there should be the line to transfer the data. So this UDP transmits segments which consist of 8-byte header, okay, which consist of 8-byte header followed by the payload. Okay, so this UDP header is having total number of 32 bytes. So it has been divided into 4 different equal parts. Okay, so each part will be having 8 byte. Okay, that is why it is 32 bits totally. Okay, so here this will be the source part, and next destination part, and the length of the user datagram protocol, and if there is any error in the data, that has to be verified, so that UDP checksum. So it's an important 2 more question, and what it is telling, it is a way to send a way for applications to send encapsulated IP datagrams, and it can send them without making a connection. Clear? Next one is the remote procedure call. Okay, what is the idea behind this? It is like a local call. That means nearby system, how it is making a connection. The same way it is making a local connection. So to call a remote procedure, what the client has to do, they have to have a small library procedure. That procedure is called as the client stub. Okay, so the same way there is a server should also have a procedure which is called as the server stub. Okay, so these procedures hide the fact that the procedure can call the client to the server, not a local. See, look at this figure. What are the steps are involved in this? 5 different steps are involved in this. What are the 5 different steps? First one is the client has to make a connection to the stub, means it has to send a procedure. Then it has to work with the operating system to retrieve the procedure and send through the network. And the same way, after receiving the procedure, it has to contact to the server or server of the operating system. Then the operating system will request the procedure from the server stub. Then the server will be returning that particular procedure. Understood? So RPC is the remote procedure call. Okay, it's like a local call. Okay, so for this call, the client have a small library procedure and also the server have a procedure. So those procedures are called client stub in the client machine, server stub in the server machine, right? So these procedures are used when they are making a call and when they are receiving the addresses. Next one is the real-time transport protocol. Okay, what is this real-time transport protocol? When you are making a transmission from one machine to another machine, how this protocol stack will be, means stack will be. What is the order? Okay, and how the packet will be nested inside it. Okay, these are the 2 different figures. These explanation of the figures are there in the notes. Okay, so here Ethernet, first one is the Ethernet, and it is having the connection with the IP. IP will be having the UDP. Then for that real-time transport protocol, it has to have a socket interface. Then only it can have a audio, video, like that. Those things can be transferred. Okay, so here this is the packet nesting. First you will be, since it is a Ethernet head will be there. Next one is the IP header will be there. Next one is the UDP header is there. Next to the socket interface, and then the payload, right? So in each header there is a payload. Payload is telling about the full procedure of the that particular address, right? So what we studied in the UDP, the same way Ethernet payload will have all these kinds of things. Next one is the internet transport protocols. Okay, so what is this? TCP, transport protocols. Here we are going to study about what is TCP, what is the service model, and what should be the protocol segment header, how it is going to make a connection, how it is going to release, what is the management modeling and policy, congestion control, timer management, all these things we are going to study. So what is TCP? This is also another important 2-mark question. It is specifically designed to provide reliable end-to-end byte stream over an unreliable network. So through this transport protocol, if you are going to send the data, it is reliable. Okay, unreliable network means through the wireless also you can able to send it. So this is different from a single network because different parts may have widely different topologies, bandwidths, delays, packet sizes, and other parameters. TCP was designed dynamically to adopt the properties of the internetwork and to be robust in the face of many kinds of failures. So it is dynamically adopt the properties of the internetwork. When it is transferring the data, it is able to adopt the properties. So if there is any problem or something also, it can face it easily. So what is the TCP service model? It is obtained by both sender and the receiver creating endpoints called sockets. It has to create a socket, right? So what is a socket? It is TCP service is obtained by both the sender and the receiver creating endpoints called sockets. So each socket has a socket number which consists of IP address and the 16-bit number. Okay, each socket has a socket number which consists of IP address of the host and 16-bit number local to that host called a port. Okay, so there is a socket number and the port. So socket number is nothing but the address. Port is called the local number, right? Okay, so a port of the TCP named for a TSAP. Okay, transport address port. Okay, so this TCP access point, okay, we studied in the transport service access point. For TCP service to be continued, a connection must be explicitly established between a socket on the sending machine and a socket on the receiving machine. Okay, so this is the port, this is the protocol which we are going to use, and this is the purpose of the protocol. So what it is going to do, first it has to make a duplex connection, that is point to point connection. Next, the byte stream has to be transferred, immediate transmission has to be done, and if there is any urgent data should be transferred also, it should be transferred, right? So this is the port number F21 which is using the protocol FTP to transfer the files, and another protocol 23 which is using a protocol Telnet for the remote login. The another one is the 25 which is using the protocol SMTP for the email, and 69 for trivial file transfer protocol, 79 for the lookup info about the user, 80 for the HTTP, 110 for the remote email access, and 119 for the Usenet news, right? These are the assigned ports. Next one is when it is transferring the data, how the byte stream will be. Okay, so this is the IP header, both this is IP header, this is the TCP header, and A, B, C, D are the byte streams. Okay, so that is only given for 512 byte segments. It send the IP datagrams. Okay, so the 2048 bytes of data delivered to the application by a single read call. Okay, so 2048 bytes of data can be read. Okay, so this is the segment header. Okay, so important one which is coming under 5 marks. Source part, destination part, sequence number, acknowledgement number. This is the header length, and this is the urgent data acknowledgement. This is the push, and then it is using the remote service synchronization, and finally if there is any data or the acknowledgement has to be received, it has to be received. And this is the window size, checksum, urgent pointer, and then if there is any options, if you want to have any extra, can also be added. Okay, this is data which is optional. These both things are optional, right? This is the TCP header. Next one is the checksum. Okay, we have studied checksum here, right? So what is this checksum? Only we are going to study as a separate one. It is for extra reliability. Okay, so this header and the data conceptual pseudo header shows in the figure. Source address is there, destination address is there. This is the checksum field, and this is the protocol which it is using, and this is the TCP segment length. Okay, next one is connection establishment. So this is connection establishment in the normal case. This is in the collision case. Collision means problem occurs, means how it will be. The host one is sending the synchronization, that means sequential message. Once it is received, it has to send the synchronization with the acknowledgement. Once it is received the acknowledgement, it can send the data, right? So when it is sending, immediately it is sending, that means it is crash. Okay, it has to receive it, then only it has to send the acknowledgement for that. Okay, so this is the collision case. Next one is the connection release. So if there is anything or there, how it can release the connection. Normally this is showing that 4 TCP segments needed a release connection. Okay, it has to send the acknowledge data, then it has to send the acknowledgement, then it has to send the request, then only it has to send, it can send the acknowledgement and it can send the acknowledgement, that is, it is received it. But here if you see that it is possible for the first acknowledgement and send the second fin can be contained in the same segment. So in this way also you can send it, it can receive it with the same data and the acknowledgement can be received. Then it can request for the acknowledgement. Next, transmission policy. So here you are telling about sender and the receiver. So application does a 2K, right? 2K of data is going to be returned. So this 2K and the sequence number is sent. First it is empty, the buffer is empty. Once it is received, that will be stored in it. Then it has to send the acknowledgement that it has received the data. So it can send the another one. So sometime it will be full. So it has to send the acknowledgement that sender is blocked. It should not be send the data. Then the application reads the whole data. Once it is read, it can send the another one. Okay, this is already stored. This 2K already stored. So it has to be released back and it has to manage it. So this is called the window management in TCP. Silly window syndrome is telling about receiver's buffer is full means application reads the data. Then what it has to do? It has to have a room for another data. Then only it can read it. And window has to update the segment sent. And when the new header is received, new byte arrives, the receiver's buffer will be full. Okay. So this is telling in that what we studied. Here sender will be sending, receiver will be receiving, but here what it is sending, well, it is showing only the receiver side. Okay. Next, congestion control. Network capacity, receiver capacity. When the network is transmitting fastly also, there will be the problem. When the capacitor is not able to receive also, there is a problem. That is only network capacity and the receiver capacity. So here if you see this is the transmission rate adjustment. If you give slowly, it can reach through the transmission link the capacity. According to the capacity of the receiver, it can receive it. Okay, so if there is a congestion, it means there is a problem to receive the data and pass the data means, and what it can do, it cannot receive it properly and it will be holded again. Okay, so that time the transmission has to be adjusted. So fast network feeding low capacity receiver, slow network feeding high capacity receiver. Okay. Slow start algorithm. The number of bytes sent may be in the minimum number of 2 windows. So here transmission number, here it is telling about congestion window. Okay, when you are transmitting it, once it is passing the timeout over means again it has to start from the beginning. Okay, that is only this. So threshold means it is telling the number of input maximum, how much data it can able to transfer and also how much input it can able to get it. So if it is more than a time, it has to start with the original 0 time. Okay. Next, how the TCP timer will be managed. Okay, for that this figure is telling about the probability density of the acknowledgement arrival times in the data link layer. It is telling about probability density of acknowledgement arrival times of for TCP. This is the data link layer. This is for the TCP. So this is telling about round trip time in the milliseconds, right? So this is the probability. The solution for this retransmission timer use a highly dynamic algorithm that constantly adjusts the timeout interval. So based on that, continuous measurements on the network performance can be done. So what it can do, it has to go to the time according. This much time has been given for this particular transmission. It has to go slowly, it has to reduce, and finally there is no time has been there to transfer the data. This is telling about timeout. Timeout is nothing but For each connection, TCP maintains a variable called RTT, which is telling about round trip time, which is the current estimate of the round trip time to the destination in question. So when a segment is sent, a timer is started both to see how long the acknowledgement takes and to trigger a retransmission in it if it takes too long. If the acknowledgement gets back before the timer expires, the TCP has to measure how long the acknowledgement took. Okay, it then updates RTT according to the formula. So RTT equal to ARTT plus that means this is the formula to calculate it. Alpha is telling about 7 by 8 the timer seconds. Another variable called D, which is the deviation, how much time has been spent. Okay, so that the formula will be RTT plus 4D. So with this we will finish our class today. We will continue with the next class. Okay.